of best of recent.
Yeah, I feel like that's a little bit of a motivational thing. You already have the thing wrapped up, support a shield. What else do you have to wrap up? Like there's nothing really much to wrap
Yeah,
up. I mean, this team,
I just
it's
want. I just think you
they've
want to
been the
go in the
best team.
playoffs. Well, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean they beat their rival. They drew Atlanta on the road. Giovinco took a sip of some beer. So, hey,
Yeah. Well, and
it
Michael
it
Bradley
was
got
fun.
booed,
And Altidore, they both got booed.
which is
I mean,
awesome.
I'm telling you, a Atlanta Toronto series is going to be fun
Oh, it's gonna be fantastic. I mean, there's nothing.
if it happens. If it happens.
Yeah, well, if it happens, sure. But Toronto FC have all the momentum. Their season rests on basically the season FC Dallas had last year. If they don't win the MLS Cup, it doesn't matter. Michael Bradley and Josie Altidore, they better show up for the playoffs because if they want any chance to touch the U.S. men's national team, this is where it happens, especially after what happened. So they have that motivation. Sebastian Giovinco, not necessarily the Sebastian Giovinco of the last couple season, still 15 goals. Victor Vasquez, MVP candidate, 16 assists and 8 goals. Fantastic, So and
He's kind of been like the piece they've been missing. Giovinco's been struggling. I mean, not struggling. I mean, the guy still can light it up real quick. I mean, he's one of the most important players Toronto has. But Victor Vasquez has been something that not a lot of people were expecting. Barcelona, man, just whipping in balls left and right, and they've been great assists. And I think Vasquez has been a wonderful addition to help Giovinco and alleviate some pressure off of him. And now you have Vasquez feeding balls to Altidore, to Giovinco. You can have Bradley sit back in his role, and he doesn't need to push up as much because, you have a playmaker in Victor Vasquez.
No, and you have also a very good defensive team. I think that they have leadership. I think they have a good chemistry, and I think what they learned last year in the playoffs could really carry over. I think they too have the right mentality. They have the support, and I think what's unique is they actually have pressure from the fans, if that makes sense, to succeed because that's what they want. That you need them to do well, especially in the city of Toronto. So it's going to be a fascinating matchup if whoever comes out and plays Toronto because everybody wants to take down Toronto. They are the overwhelming favorite right now. Then you have NYCFC, who is a one-man team with David Villa, who literally carries about 38% of their goals. 38. Jack Harrison.
Yeah.
Who's
Go ahead. Sorry.
I would say Jack Harrison has 10 goals. Got the U21 England call up. Fantastic for him. But after that, 4 goals, 3 goals, 1 goal. It's no good. David Villa is the centerpiece to this team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's. I think Patrick Vieira is gonna have a little interesting thing. I mean, you have to remember last year they got dismantled in the conference semifinal by Toronto. I think it was like 7-something on aggregate. It was they got destroyed. It wasn't even close. And now they're in the same spot basically. They have their spot clinched. I mean, man, it's gonna be interesting to see because if let's say I think it works like if the lower seed wins, then they play the top seed, and then like 1 would play 6, then 4 would play 2.
Yeah.
If the Red Bulls win, then they play the Red Bulls will play Toronto, and then what? Do you have NYCFC playing against Atlanta? That's going to be. That is going to be a test for them. That'd be a test for them. So NYCFC needs to. I think they need to show up their defense. I think Yangel Herrera has been a fantastic addition to NYCFC, and I think overall they're in a strong position. But I think I don't know if they're really MLS Cup favorites, to be honest.
I don't see it either with Toronto being so good offensively and defensively. It's a complete team. That's why they finished 12 points ahead of NYCFC in the Eastern Conference. So Patrick Vieira, good coach. We'll see. They get to play at Yankee Stadium. I guess that's good for them because.
Are we celebrating or something?
I don't know if that's a celebration. I found it interesting that Vieira on decision day actually had the exact same measurements at Citi Field as he does at Yankee Stadium. He could have pulled it a little bit wider. I think it's just one of those habits. You want to play at home. You want the same dimensions as you normally get. But moving on to the playoff matchup this week, you have
knockout round,
single elimination, win and you're in, lose you're out. Chicago Fire hosting the Red Bulls.
Oh man, this is awesome for Chicago. After having a five-year drought, they play arguably one of the tougher teams. I'd say Red Bulls. I mean, you have Schweinsteiger. Hopefully, he's back. I mean, they won. They rested him for the rest of the season, so he'll be back for playoffs. I think it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, you have Nikolic, man, freaking absolutely just amazing signing. This guy from Warsaw, and he's been scoring goals left and right. And just a nice little poacher with 24 goals. Man, and you have the ultimate storyline of Dax McCarty.
Yes.
They traded him, I think, to get Sean Davis, I think, or Tyler Adams, one or two more playing time. And I mean, now you have Dax coming back as a 3 seed against the Red Bulls. My thing is this, Steven. I don't know if you feel the same, but I do feel like the Red Bulls. I don't know. I feel like the Red Bulls should be a favorite compared to Chicago, as dumb as that sounds.
I don't see the same thing. Reason being is the Red Bulls have done historically poor in the playoffs the last 2 seasons. One season, they won the Supporters' Shield. The next season, the top seed, marginally losing out the Supporters' Shield to FC Dallas. And you think that the Red Bulls would be better off now, but the Dax McCarty trade was interesting, and you're traveling on the road. I mean, the Red Bulls on the road this season haven't necessarily been the best. Only 5 wins. It's better than what Chicago has done on the road, but Chicago at home, they're really good. 12 wins. That's second best to Toronto. Like, Chicago have some firepower at home. They can really get after it, too.
No, absolutely. I get it. They can. They are a team that's much better than. Well, obviously, at home, they are just a completely different team than any of the teams, almost any other team, am I assuming, right? They have the best home record, right? Like, am I wrong? Am I wrong with that? I think they're the best home record.
They're based on wins. Toronto has one more.
Okay, well, whatever. Toronto's the best team in the league. I mean, come on.
You asked.
I mean, come on.
You asked.
I mean, come on. But, I mean, at the same time, you look, Bradley Wright Phillips, 17 goals, Kleshman, 9 assists. I mean, Daniel Royer's been resurgent with 12 goals. And New York does run that unique 3-6-1 formation that, man, I really like it. Like,
yeah, is that false? That weird number 9 type of role.
That weird number 9. That weird number 9 kind of role.
Well,
and
what I'm saying is, yeah, it's very fluid. You're able to.
It's very fluid. Absolutely, no, you're right, Steven. It's really fluid. You can move. You can switch defensively. You can switch attacking. I mean, you have Tyler Adams that fullback position, and I mean, I feel like Jesse Marsh is a guy who can just come in and he knows, kind of like Jose Mourinho. I mean, not comparing it to based on that thing, but they can win one game. You know. If it's up to one game, they can win it. I mean, obviously in the series, Marshall struggled.
The Red Bulls have been struggling. Going into Sunday's decision day, they had 1 win in the last 10 games. It's not
man, but it's an MLS playoffs, though, so I mean, we don't know what the hell to expect.
Sure, but flipping the switch means what? You know? In Chicago just got destroyed by Houston. So
and yeah, they got destroyed by Houston. I mean, resting Schweinsteiger all that time.
So let me ask you, Bastian Schweinsteiger, the experiment with Chicago. Now we don't know what's going to happen after the season. Do you think that there is I think Chicago has surpassed expectation. Now they are the 3 seed, so you would like to think they could at least get into the next round of the playoffs. I think that after putting everything into context, that's their minimum. That's where they need to be. And I think the Schweinsteiger element could bring something to the Chicago team that experience of A, the World Cup, and then B, the Champions League, win and you move on. Who cares what the result is? This is football tournament. You just have to win.
Yeah, he can bring that. I mean, I'm just as of late, Chicago has been struggling a little bit. I'm telling you, man, this Nemanja Nikolic has been so not talked about.
Yeah,
and he's been absolutely outstanding. I don't know. I think he should be talked about more than Schweinsteiger because, I mean, Schweinsteiger's had the impact, but even without Schweinsteiger, Chicago are pulling in nice crowds and whatnot. Looking at the way they play, I mean, who is their fullback's name? I think is Polster.
Mm-hmm.
Logan, he's been great. Brandon Vincent's been great. Overall, I mean, the Chicago team is it's really well done. To be honest, I don't know. I have just a weird feeling that Red Bull can pull an upset. And I have no idea why, to be 100% honest with you. But I think Red Bull. I just have this feeling Red Bull can pull an upset. And I mean, if they don't, they don't. If they do, they do. But I mean, it is going to be a nice game to watch on Wednesday on FS1. I think that'll be really fun to see.
You know, Armand, it's funny that I've had a soft spot for Chicago. I don't know why, since Schweinsteiger has come over. I just have. I want them to succeed. I think a big city like
you should go to the game.
Yeah, you know what? I could.
You could, right? Yeah, go to the game. I mean, it's on Wednesday.
It's on Wednesday. I could get back for Thursday's classes. But I don't know. It's an interesting matchup because you have the Dax McCarty aspect. You have Nikolic, who's the Golden Boot winner that nobody seems to talk about. You have a really fluid Red Bulls, but both clubs coming in on a down, it feels like, at the end of the MLS season. So who knows? Who can flip the switch? Who's going to be the leader? Moving on to Atlanta. Columbus Crew. What a weird matchup this is because Atlanta United is an expansion club. They just broke the record. They have fantastic players left and right. Martinez, Alderaan, fantastic.
Man, you can't say names.
No, I can't pronounce names.
Alderaan? Jesus Christ, man. Almiron. My goodness, Steven.
You just move on. Forget and move on. Almiron. What do you make of this Atlanta United?
From the Atlanta United side, I'm gonna be honest with you, they are not a 4 seed in my opinion. They started off kind of shaky. They have those home games, and man, Atlanta at home is a completely different monster from Atlanta on the road. But this team is I think they're gonna be healthy. You have Bilaba, you have Almiron, you have Martinez, you have Assad. Man, you have Lorenowitz and Carmona. I mean, Lorenowitz has been I think, the most important parts of that Atlanta team. Not defense with Gonzalez Perez. Garza's injured. And
Michael Parkhurst did look to be shaken up today against Toronto.
I mean, hopefully he's not out. But, I mean, you do have, as I call him, Big Red Jeff Lorenowitz, who can fill into that center back role, as he has been doing. I remember John Strong did mention this on a broadcast, that it looks like Atlanta's formation is almost a 3-5-2 because Lorenowitz sits so far back and the fullbacks push so high up.
Yeah,
that's how they play, and that's exciting. It's fun for me. It's fun to watch.
Oh, it's fantastic, and they fantastic. Press. They press so. Oh,
they press
hard.
So high. It's really impressive to watch how high they press up, how they intertwine, how they switch. It's a beautiful attacking soccer. Now that can also leave them very vulnerable at the back. And I think a team like Columbus can capitalize on that.
Absolutely. Alrighty, continuing with MLS playoff discussion. Joining us right now is Andrew Erickson, beat writer, Columbus Dispatch, covering the Crew. How's it going, Andrew? Thank you for joining us.
Doing well. Thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome. Well, let's get straight to it because Columbus has this awkward position, being in the playoffs, a potential chance of lifting the cup. They obviously are in it. And then this weird relocation going on with the contract issue with the owner going to Austin.